There's a calm surrender to the rush of day, when the heart of a rolling wind can be turned away. An enchanted moment, and it sees me through. It's enough for this restless warrior just to be with you. Can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are, and it's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. And can you feel the love tonight, and how it's laid to rest? And it's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. There's a time for everyone, if they only learn that the twisting kaleidoscope moves us all in turn. There's a rhyme and reason to the wild outdoors, when the heart of this star-crossed voyager beats in time with yours. And can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are, and it's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. And can you feel the love tonight, and now it's laid to rest? And it's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. And it's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best. Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King, special request from my daughter, of course by the legendary Elton John and Bernie Taupin combination. What incredible songwriters those guys are. Now this is obviously a kind of a piano/orchestral tune arranged for guitar. The chords are relatively simple. I'm going to talk a little bit about picking out the melody, the kind of the string melody that happens in the little interlude. Mostly it's just chords. There are lots of different approaches. You could play it fingerstyle. I've tried to go for a kind of using my fingers. I'm not using a pick, but strumming with my fingers thing. But again, the big deal with these kind of tunes is having some a different dynamic thing between the verses and the choruses. So trying to play a little less in the verses and then really bring the choruses up a little bit as well. So let's get to a close up. Check it out. So the chords for the intro part there are G, D with an F sharp bass, which you could play like that as well if you're doing the individual note thing. If you're really struggling with the slash chords at all, you could just play a regular D as well. That would equally work. The slash just means it's put a different bass note under the chord. So that's D/F sharp means a D chord with an F sharp on the bass. So you get G, D with an F sharp bass, then you've got C with an E bass. Now this is just like a regular C chord, but we're playing the low E string, which we normally would want to mute, but in this particular case we want it for the movement of, so we get Okay, so it's just about the voice movement, we call it. Not obviously a singing movement, but the voices of the instrument, the voices of each individual string. So, but you could just, again, play just regular C instead of C with an E bass if you want. So, again from the beginning. So G, D with an F sharp bass, C with an E bass, back to G, C, G with a B bass, and then we've got a quite quick succession of chords. D with an F sharp bass, G, A minor, G with a B bass. Now this G with a B bass is probably worth a little look at here. Using my second finger on the note B, it's also muting the thicker string. And I'm using my little finger down here to play the note on the third fret of the second string. You could also move that little finger to the third fret of the thinner string. That's also a G with a B bass. I just think that this version with the second, with little finger on the second string sounds better in this song. You might think otherwise, in which case play it a different way. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to take you through the verse chords now, and I'll come back and explain the detail of picking out that string melody in the interlude line after we've gone through all of the general chords. So the verse 1 chords then. So C, there's a calm G with a B bass, the C, the rush of G with a B bass, C when the heat of a G with a B bass, it A minors then to D, the C enchanted G with a B bass, C it sees me G with a B bass, C's enough for this E minor warrior, F to B with D. It's the same chord sequence there for the two verses. There are only two verses in this song. Let's run through it one more time. So it's C, 1, 2, to G with a B bass, 3, 4. Back to C. You could also play this version of the G with the B bass, as I said. C, G with a B bass, to A minor, to D. Second half of that verse, C the plan to G with a B bass, C it sees me G with a B bass, C's enough for this E minor warrior, F to B with D. Of course the F, if you can't do the big bar chord F, you could definitely do the little F there. That would work as well. F major 7, just to be with you. Yeah, you could even do the F major 7. I think it sounds as good. Just to be with you. I think regular F is going to sound better than the major 7th in that particular case. And then we're into the chorus. So we got G. Can you feel? D with an F sharp bass. If you can't play the F sharp bass, just play a regular D. You can play Can you D, the E minor to C, G. It is C, A with a C sharp bass to D. This is the one, probably the trickiest bit of the whole song. So it's G. It is C, A with a C sharp bass to D. This is a funny chord for if you've never played it before. It's an A chord, but using a mini bar with the first finger and the third finger playing the note C sharp. It's all about this walk. It's this. So G, it is where we are. That's what we're looking for. C, A with the C sharp bass to D. Chorus again from the beginning. G. Can you D with an F sharp bass, the E minor to C, G. It is C, A with a C sharp bass to D, 2, 3, 4, C. And it's a G with a B bass for this E minor D to C chord, then A minor G, C, A with a C sharp bass to D. That's pretty tricky. We'll do a slower version of that in just a second. G. Then you D with an F sharp bass, the E minor to C, G. How it's C, A with a C sharp bass to D, 2, 3, 4, and C. And it's a G with a B bass to make E minor D and C a bonds. A minor G, D with a C with a D bass for a bar, to C with a G bass, to G. Actually, that might be the trickiest bit there at the end. So a few interesting chords there, hey. So let's go through a couple of the other tricky ones. Obviously, we've already covered the C, A with a C sharp bass to D. But there's also this little bit after that. So C, and it's a G with a B bass for this wide-eyed wanderer, E minor, D, C chord. And then it's A minor, G, C, A with a C sharp bass to D. Right in succession, they're following the words there. It's a little bit tricky. That we got this far. It is important that the chords stay fairly consistent there, but the voice tends to reach the far a little earlier. It pushes through a bit, so it's not exactly like that we got this far. That kind of sounds a little bit weird. It's that we got this far. So the voice is actually coming a little bit sooner. If you're struggling with it at the beginning, then it'd be totally fine to just be, that we got this far. Okay, those changes are fairly quick. A minor, G, C, A with a C sharp bass to D. And if you struggle with the C sharp bass, you can of course just play a regular A. The C sharp bass does lend something extra to the harmony, but you don't have to play it. In a band situation, it'd often be the bass player playing that, and the guitar might play a regular A chord anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. The second half of the verse starts the same, but the very last part is a little different. So C, and it's a G with a B bass to big E minor, D, C a bonds, A minor, G, C with a D bass to C with a G bass to G. It's a little bit unusual chords there. It sounds great on piano. It's unusual on guitar, but it sounds pretty cool. A minor to G, and then C with a D bass is this. So there's a regular C, but we're using this open D string. So it's really, we're just playing thinnest three strings of the C chord, but with that D bass note. Okay, so believe the very best. So this one is like playing a C chord. Add your little finger down on the thinner string and move your third finger over to the thickest string. So we end up with third fret, mute, second fret, open, first fret, third fret. That's a C with a G bass, and then you lift off those first two fingers, to get the regular G. Believe the very best. So after that first chorus, it plays again the interlude, then there's the second verse, the second chorus, and then to finish, it just repeats the last two lines of the chorus. Relatively simple arrangement there. And as I said, this is originally a piano and orchestra arrangement. And if you're doing it on guitar, you should experiment with the different ways that you play it. The one thing to always bear in mind is trying to do something a little bit more in the chorus. So probably, no matter what you're doing, you're going to end up strumming in the chorus, just playing relatively continuously, but noting, of course, those bits where you're playing one chord for each beat. You're probably going to not be, trying to do a strumming pattern through that. You'll just be strumming those individual chords. So just getting used to maybe let's talk about the chorus first. So probably you're going to be doing this. Can you feel the love tonight? Mostly thinking down strums. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that kind of thing. I'm accenting a little bit the 2 and the 4 just to give it a little bit of movement, accenting the backbeat there. You could try lots of different things with this, particularly in the verses. It works well for it to be very sparse in the verses. So even just playing single strums and having like there's a calm surrender to the rush of day, when the heat of a rolling wind can be turned away. A little bit more movement maybe. An enchanted moment and it sees me through. A little bit of a fill if you want. It's enough for this restless warrior just to be with you. And can you feel the love? That kind of thing, like keeping it really simple on the verses. You could fingerstyle it. I'm guessing I'm just making this up on the spot now, but there's a calm surrender to the rush of day, when the heat of a rolling wind can be turned away. An enchanted moment, and it sees me through. It's enough for this restless warrior just to be with you. Can you feel the love tonight? Is it where you are? I'm being silly now, but you really could play this song lots of different ways, and I would encourage you to learn it just as a bare bones version with simple strumming in the verses and then a little bit more in the choruses, and then have a go and see what kind of arrangement you can come up with this song. What do you like? There's no right or wrong here. It's do you dig what you're coming up with? That's the key thing. It's a really good song for experimenting like that, trying out different fingerstyle patterns. Of course, you can add in chord variations as well if you know, like using your D sus4 and those kind of little A sus2 things that you could add in there, or embellishments. The C add 9 would be a nice kind of thing that you might like to try out. So have a bit of an experiment, see what you come up with, and if you do an arrangement of it, please tag me over on social media or in the comments here. Let me know, and maybe I'll try and check out your video. I really hope you enjoyed this lesson. There are loads more over on the website. Do go and check it out. As of course, really appreciate you subscribing to my channel if you dig what I do. Have yourself a fantastic day and a great time with your guitar, and I'll see you for more very soon. Bye bye. Well, that was a short goodbye. I've just edited that first section, realized that I forgot to show you how to play that little intro thing emulating the string lines, so I re-recorded it and I realized I'd forgotten to plug my guitar in, so I gotta do it all again. I really hope you enjoy it. Let's get to a close-up. Check it out. That's the line, of course. We're trying to pin this melody down. So da boo da 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 boo 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 da boo da 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 da. That's the melody that we're trying to pull out there while we're doing this. So it starts with the G. We're playing the strings 2, 3, and 4. The fingers, thumb playing the bass note on the G. Sometimes I'll play it all together and then chord, bass. Now this is the D with an F sharp bass here, using fingers 2, 3, and 4. Fifth string is muted. We're just playing, first of all, thicker string, fourth string, and third string. And then we add in that second note. Okay, so la, boo, da, da. This is a C with an E bass. I'm just leaving off the third finger, we don't need it. I'm muting the fifth string there with the tip of my second finger. Then we move third finger to the G bass note, but we leave first finger down. And we're going to play strings 2, 3, and 4 and the bass, then lift off first finger, play the third string, and then the fourth string. So far we've got G, D with an F sharp bass, C with an E bass, G, then we've got this. So this is a C, but I'm just playing these two notes, just the fifth and fourth strings. Little finger goes down the fourth fret, then you play the open third string, and then back to the fourth string. Okay, so now we're just again playing fifth string and fourth string together, then the third string. Then we've got this little climb, which is very nice. Again, it's just highlighting this, but with D with the F sharp bass. So with the open D string, the second fret on the third string, then G, just like we started off with, A minor 7, middle 4 strings, D with an F sharp bass, G with a B bass is the correct name for that chord, middle 4 strings, and then C, and normally I hit that thinnest string just again to finish the line. One more time, nice and slow. So G, D with an F sharp bass to C over E, G, C, G with a B bass, D with an F sharp bass, G, A minor 7, G with a B bass, to C. Now, this is just an idea. It's what you hear on the original recording, but you could definitely explore this a little bit, improvise with the same chords and change the melody up if you want to get real clever. Learning the actual one, I think, is a good idea, particularly if you're ever performing it live. People will recognize it, or if you're playing it for children, they'll be like, oh, I know this song. But it can be kind of a fun thing to muck around with it a bit too. I'm just getting a bit silly now, but just have a bit of a go at it. Learn the actual one and then see if you can play around with it maybe the second time you do it, and work it as like a kind of a improvising section for you. If you want to be clever, you don't have to be. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this little addendum, that it helps you play the song a little bit better, and I'll see you for plenty more lessons very soon. Bye. See you again soon.